Yo, what's happening, everyone? This is episode number 14 of Progress Report. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Nomad222. I'm a artist, performer, content creator, event producer, all those things. Most importantly, I'm a father of four, got four babies, and I love them to death. But anyway, this is a series that I started 14 weeks ago to coincide with the release of my album, the Nomadic Deluxe, which is, dropping a new song every Friday. So we're following a waterfall release, which means that every single Friday we're dropping one song from the album until all of the songs are out and the project in its entirety is on all streaming platforms. But the reason why we do that is so that each week we can spotlight the one song for the entire week. And that's how we've been going for 14 weeks now. We've got 3 more weeks left on this release plan. Y just dropped last Friday, and we got 3 more songs dropping after this. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. What I do in this series is I go through the analytics of my, all of my statistics that are relevant to me as an artist from week 1 to now, and just to keep track and progress of how everything's going, how our strategy is when we're talking about social media and how we promote the music, how we promote, what we're doing here. And yeah, I gotta be real with you guys. I'm a little bit out of it today. Just getting over a cold. I had a cold over the entire weekend. It's Tuesday today, and I've been working the past 2 days, and it's been, it's a bit much at the moment. So I'm gonna keep this short as possible, and then just go rest up and try and get better. And then, you guys will get a new one. But I recorded these statistics last Thursday, so they're still up to date. There's a couple of things in there that I already know have changed and I'm pretty excited about, but I'll keep that for next week's reveal, or for this Thursday, when I do the update of the numbers and everything like that. But for the time being, let's go ahead and get into it. We always start off with the Spotify monthly listeners, and as you know from the start, we set a goal that I want to hit 4 million monthly listeners. And that's just the goal that I set for myself. It's a goal that I've had for a minute now, and there's a lot of things that go into that, mainly how much revenue can be generated and potentially be generated from having 4 million monthly listeners just on Spotify. And that doesn't include like all the other DSPs that we have music streaming on. So the 4 million monthly listeners is our target. And in week 1, we started with 51 monthly listeners. And I always joke about that. I always laugh about that at the start, because obviously 51 monthly listeners compared to our target of 4 million, it seems like a huge leap. But I'm proud to say that in the past week, so we're in week 14 now, compared to where we started in week 1 with 51 monthly listeners, we are now at 1,015 monthly listeners as of last Thursday. So thank you so much to everybody who's running it up and tuning in, streaming, and all of that. It's crazy to me. Progress is progress, and it speaks for itself. We're at 1,015 now compared to where we started in August, and it's only November, so 3-month difference. Insane. So thank you. Anyway, Spotify total streams, we started at 5,632 streams for the year. Now we're at 10,923. I also just want to say, last week we were at 10,545, and we're at 10,923 today. So it's been a couple hundred streams this past week alone. So that's cool. Spotify followers, we had 173. Now we're at 214. Spotify playlist ads, we were at 280 in week 1, and now we're at 736 in week 14. So that's cool. Spotify, Apple Music. Let's move to Apple Music. The monthly listeners that we started with were 2 monthly listeners. And actually it was daily listeners at the time. So that's the difference there. Last week we were at 22 monthly listeners, but now we've dropped to 2 monthly listeners, and I was trying to refresh and make sure that was accurate, and if that I wasn't reading it incorrectly, but for the most part I'm pretty sure we have had a drop in from 22 monthly listeners on Apple Music to 2. So that's kind of disheartening, but at the same time, Apple Music's not really a main for me, just because I know that in terms of market share, that most people, on an average percentage of people, are using Spotify. Spotify is the primary streaming platform for almost everybody. Apple Music, it's a much smaller percentage. So, you know, because of that, I do have to kind of target Spotify more intently than I would Apple Music. Would I like? I would definitely prefer that. And if you are watching this, I would prefer that you guys stream my music on Apple Music, because the percentage is bigger. What Apple Music pays out compared to Spotify is a lot higher than what Spotify pays out to artists. I feel like my brain is not there to be making these videos and having these conversations, but hopefully that made sense to you guys. Apple Music pays more to the artist than Spotify does per stream. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to listen to my music, Apple Music is the place to do that. Otherwise, you know, Spotify, just make sure you're running it up, I guess. Total streams on Apple Music went from 7,917 to 7,968 in the past week, so that's cool. Instagram, let's talk about Instagram. So the followers on Instagram stayed the same, so we're at 4,086, and that's cool. Not too fussed about that, but the engagement rate that we had on Instagram, it just went up a couple of decimals. So we were at 3.4% engagement last week, and we're at 3.12% this week, which is cool. I'm quite happy about that. TikTok followers, we were at 5,379 last week. Now we're at 5,396, but the engagement rate went up slightly. So we were at 5.84% to 5.92% this week, which is cool. That's all right. YouTube subscribers, again, you know, we're so close to 500, and we're trying to hit 500 because that's obviously one of the first milestones that you need to hit in order to monetize your channel now. So we were at 497 last week. Now we're at 498. So we just needed 2 more subscribers. But again, like I said, that was updated as of last Thursday. So might be different today, Tuesday, but you'll find out later this week with the next episode. The engagement rate on YouTube, it was really low last week at 0.56%, but it went back up to 2.13%, which is the highest engagement rate that we've had in the past 5 weeks. But in saying that, the engagement rate as of week 9, it's always been under 10%, and you know, even 10% is not that great, but I think across the board, across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, I'm really just trying to get that engagement rate to above 10%. You know, if 10% of you are engaging with the content, you know, whether that's a like, a comment, a share, whatever, you know, it's one thing for everybody to be viewing the content, and we do all right with views. Views are decent, but, you know, the algorithm, for the sake of the algorithm, we need you guys engaging with it. If you guys come across my post, please leave a like. And if you have the time, leave a comment as well. Copy the link, share it around, whatever you can do. But that's where we're at. You know, we haven't been able to crack 10% in the past 5 weeks. But hopefully we can do that over time as time moves forward. But that's the analytics. That's how we're looking today. Honestly, it's just dawned on me in this moment that we only have 3 weeks left, and that's kind of crazy. 3 weeks left of this release. I've got mixed feelings about it. I feel kind of sad about it, that, you know, it's going to be over soon, and then it's going to be time to you know, start looking at next year. But in saying that, I'm pretty excited about the things that we're doing next year. I also have to be real and admit to myself that my goals of having consistent releases throughout every single month of next year, I was probably a little bit too optimistic about that. The fact of the matter is, a lot of it is out of my hands. You know, this is a collaborative sport. It's a lot of teamwork involved. and unfortunately the roster's been changing a little bit. And look, when it comes to being a team, you guys we have to have that synergy. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, when your financial position dictates how you're able to operate on a day-to-day basis, you know, life gets in the way. You know, I got 4 kids, but not only that, my health, like I told you guys at the start of this video, I've been sick since last Friday, and fuck, man, that shit just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I just got mollywopped by this sickness. My throat went out. And last Friday, man, I had a session locked in with Levi. We were gonna lock in, we were gonna finish some demos, we were gonna go over to Han's house, and we're gonna fucking lock in and do some mixing and mastering and get some final versions of these songs done. And then woke up that morning, no voice. So how am I gonna record? I can barely like get out of bed, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So I can confidently say that we've got the first 2 months, we've got 4 songs dropping in January and February of 2025. You know, the first song is dropping on January 3rd, second song is like the 27th or something, and then February we got 2 songs dropping then as well. So so that's cool. But my dream for next year was that I'd be able to drop 2 tracks every single month for the entire year and have content built around them. And at this point, it just doesn't look feasible. I mean, I've got a couple songs that are pretty much finished and done, but or in the final stages of, like, you know, being completed. But I need those songs to be absolutely done and ready to send off so that I can start creating content around it. And that's a whole other thing that takes up so much time, and it's difficult. It's difficult right now. And you know, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I want it to be clear that I'm very understanding, and I understand that, like, everyone's got their time, and everyone's got their own lives and things that, you know, take precedent over what we're doing here. But man, I just wish that money wasn't such a big issue, so I could pour more time and energy into this. And so, you know, with that being said, if anyone knows of any other ways to, you know, fund this whole thing, you know, whether that's, you know, I've thought about opening a Patreon. I think I made like a Patreon video back in the day and was considering that. Or, you know, anyone that's like, you know, into the kind of music that I make that might have some cash that could fund this whole operation, and you know, be looking to be a private investor or something like that, please let me know. But anyway, this is just the sick brain talking right now. I probably should go drink some tea or something. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, all of that. Don't forget to check out the Jokes on You music video, and don't forget to check out the WITL ? Song that I'm featured on with Strictly DT by Vina. It's very special. And check out some of the vlogs that I've been posting, and go back and watch the other episodes. Subscribe to the channel so that we can pass 500. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, together we move.